All right, welcome back. Let's dig into the in-depth mailbag. Yes, we usually do this on Monday, but I actually don't have a good excuse. We're just a little bit late. Here's one from Paul. Hi, Dan. Love your segment. Thanks for your honest and informative perspective on the issues. This is exactly what I'm going for. So thank you to Paul. I want these segments to be informative, and I'm always going to be honest with you. But you notice he used that word perspective there. Viewers are always looking for bias, as you should be. Every reporter, every person has one. It exists in every single story that you see or read. Look, when I was in journalism school, we were tested on script writing. The professor would give us a list or a series of facts and then say, hey, go and write a story. Every single story from every student was always written differently, with the same facts, just in a different order or with different emphasis. A good story should make you feel informed, but leave you curious. That's why I always ask for your questions. And here's a question I got from Casey about last week's On the Record that we did on property tax. He said, I just moved here from Illinois, where a disabled veteran's property tax burden is forgiven completely. I understand there's a provision here in North Carolina for forgiveness against 40% of the home's current value. Considering the veteran population of North Carolina, especially down here near Fort Liberty, is there any traction on the state enhancing the tax laws for disabled veterans? So as Casey mentioned, disabled veterans can get a property tax break in North Carolina, but it's not a total exemption. His numbers were a little bit off, so let's go into the details here. According to the state, the exemption can only apply to the first $45,000 of your assessed real property value. Now, to some people, that's a lot. To some people, it's not. It kind of depends on your perspective. In a county like Wake County, where the median home price just went up again to more than $484,000, that tax savings could seem marginal. He mentioned Illinois offering much more, and he's right. There are more than a dozen states out there that offer ways for disabled veterans to waive 100% of their property taxes, and that includes our neighbors to the north and south. Some disabled veterans can be 100% exempt in Virginia and South Carolina. And last year, South Carolina actually expanded property tax exemptions to make it a bit easier for veterans and their surviving spouses to apply. Now, North Carolina lawmakers have tried to expand the exemptions here many times. 2017, 2019, 2022, 2023. They try little things like adding 10 grand to the exemption. Some try to expand the number of veterans who are eligible. Other bills do try for that full 100% exemption, and all of them have failed. If you have some more questions about this, let me know. Lastly, I got an email from a viewer named Brian who said, my daughter, who is 8, watches your segment often. She wants to write you a letter with her questions about the news. Do you have a mailing address at the studio? So let's end tonight's mailbag with an actual piece of mail from 8-year-old Cassie. She says, Dear Dan, how do you get your news investigations? And why do you like being a reporter? Thank you, Cassie. Well, Cassie, I work with a team, and we watch a lot of news. And whenever we get confused by a story that's being told or have a lot of questions about something that the media is reporting, we'll start digging into it. And sometimes we find stuff that's really interesting. Also, as you can tell, we get a lot of emails. And those messages help me to see where I might be missing something important or where a lot of people out there might be missing something important. But ultimately, it boils down to one very important trait. We're curious. I always have been. That's why I love reporting. They pay me to be curious. It's pretty nice. I have 2 8-year-old sons who ask me questions all day long. They're curious too, just like you. That's why you wrote the letter, right? Hold on to that. Trust me. Then again, that's just my perspective. So to all you curious people out there from 8 to 88, you can be older than that too. Let me know, what do you think the local news should be covering? Send me an email to dan@wral.com. Tell me what's on your mind, and we'll go in depth.